Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today we are going to be making something mini. We're going to be making mini croissants, depending on where you live, how you say it. I'm sure I will be using both pronunciations interchangeably. I first saw this, I believe, back during pandemic, when the mini cereal craze was kind of going nuts. Mini everything, but the pancake thing really took off. So eating tiny little pancakes so that you could have it with milk and eat it in a bowl with a spoon. Yes, lots of different versions of those. I think there were tiny cinnamon rolls too. It was very trendy, and I parked it into a compartment in my brain and proceeded to forget about it until very recently, where I saw that you could buy these little mini croissants in the form of cereal that are hand rolled, handmade in New York City for $50 a box. The bakery name is escaping me. I shall put it right here. It's supposed to be fan-stinkin-tastic. I hear that it's very difficult to procure one of these bags or boxes of cereal. I think only a few are made a day because they are so labor intensive. So then I saw on It's Holly, I'll put a link to her Instagram down below, on this very day where I was reading all about this, Holly attempted it herself, a homemade version. And I said, thank you, Holly, you were reading my mind. She recommends using Dufour brand puff pastry, but it was sold out at my local supermarket, so I picked up Pepperidge Farm, which was also very low in supply because 'tis the season to be using puff pastry, apparently. So this is not the first time I've made croissants. I've made them from scratch before. Fantastic recipe by Claire Saffitz. I'll put a link to that video down below. Stunning, absolutely stunning, homemade, from scratch croissants that tastes better than anything I've ever purchased. Check out that video for the whole process of making authentic buttery croissants at home. So I have rolled croissants before, but never at the scale. So croissants, if you're not familiar with them, are a French little pastry that are shaped like a crescent, and they are buttery and flaky. The dough has some yeast in it, and then it's a laminated dough, meaning in between those layers of yeasted dough are layers of butter. Here is the puff pastry. I have thawed it. It comes frozen, but you still want it to be cold. So this has been chilling in the refrigerator. And just take a piece of this like that. All right, now we're going to cut these into little triangles. I've got a rimmed baking sheet lined with parchment paper. We're gonna give them a little stretch. Roll tightly. And all the way, and try to keep that little tail in the middle. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. But you don't want to stick. Okay, too much flour here. Add just a dab of water. And roll. And look at that. So stinking cute. Oh my gosh, that looks like a little spiral, a little corkscrew. You're so cute. Oh my gosh, they are so perfect. Ah! So I'm going to proceed to roll many of these, and I will be back for the next step. Alrighty, my lilies, I am back with my baked baby croissants, and baby isn't even quite the right term to summate how adorably tiny these are. They're so stinking cute. I baked these at 400 degrees for about 15 to 18 minutes, depending on how tiny your little croissants are. I have a total about 100 baby croissants. Look how stinking cute these are. So look how tiny they are. Oh my gosh, they look like little shells. Marcel, where are you? Marcel, I'm looking for you. Where are you, Marcel? We're hanging out on the cookie sheet. Come join us. I did have some unfurling. Awesome, look at that. Or maybe a lobster claw or something, crab claw. Look at this one. This one is so perfect. Ah! I love many things so much. I want this to be like a little keychain. We're gonna make a caramel, and then we're gonna coat these little friends with, and that will give it some waterproofness when we add it to milk so that our cereal stays crunchy, because if you're like me, you like your cereal to be crunchy. I've seen this done many times, but I've never done it myself. We're gonna make a simple caramel just with sugar. I know you might want to add water, but we're not making a pourable caramel sauce at all. We want this to be like a hard candy. I think something is happening. Yes. See, it looks like it's kind of melting here. Yep. I've told myself that I'm not gonna mess with it, so don't mess. Oh yeah, see, it's starting to get a little bit blonde. This is so cool. Okay, more sugar. This is about a cup of sugar, by the way. I'm gonna err on the side of taking this off early rather than later, because again, don't want burnage. Okay, trying to mix in the sugar that's not caramelized yet. That's all melted in, and we're gonna pour this right on this pan. Whoa, look at that, that's so beautiful. Wow, that happened so quickly. Wow, this is exciting. First time I've made caramel. Ooh, look at this. I feel like a candy maker. I love those candy making videos. You ever watch those where they make candy, like the pulled candy, and it looks like the Italian glass making when they make those rods, but they make it with candy. Love those videos. Alrighty, look. So this piece has hardened. Look, it's like glass. It's so shiny, and look how brittle it is. Yo, I made caramel. That's awesome. Another thing I can do to hasten this is to kind of spread it out a little bit thinner. Wow. This is the state where you can do that little thing over a broomstick that Julia Child did for her croquembouche. That technique, I don't know what that is, but it's flinging this caramel syrup over a broomstick, as I recall, and you create kind of like cotton candy, but sort of not. It almost looks like hair, like spun sugar. And then she wrapped her croquembouche, which is these little cream puffs that are arranged in a cone, kind of like a Christmas tree, all glued together with caramel. It looks like a project. I should probably attempt that for next Christmas. What y'all say? Let me know down in the comments if I should do that. That sounds like a scary project. But I like challenges. Wow, look at that. It's so thin and crunchy. Okay, I'm waiting for this to cool, but this is just phenomenal. This sugar consistency, it's so stretchy, and it makes this beautiful thread, like golden threads of sugar. And it happens so quickly. All right, it's already cooled, so I can't do it anymore. But I was able to spin this thread-like stuff. Oh my gosh, it's magical. Look at that. Wow. It almost looks like fishing line. The caramel that we made is completely rigid. Look at this. Wow. So cool, look at that. It's so shiny. Beautiful, and we can just break it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Now we're gonna pulverize it in a little spice grinder. Add that to a bowl. Little baby croissants into that powder. Toss them in that. All right, now we're gonna put them back on the baking sheet and bake them until the sugar is melted. I made caramel for the first time. I'm just curious what it tastes like. Let's give it a taste. It's amazing just what that little bit of heat, how that changes the flavor of sugar. Sugar is just sweet, but now it tastes like caramel. It has a little toasted complexity. It's delicious. What really gets caramel for me is the addition of cream and butter. That for me just makes it like gah. But like this, it's just so flavorful. It's amazing. Alrighty, into the oven. See you in a little bit. Alrighty, my lovelies, I just took out my little mini croissants out of the oven. Perfect little croissant. Oh my goodness. Before we add the milk, let's give them a taste just straight up. Alrighty, here we go. Itadakimasu. Oops. To me, they taste exactly like those butterfly cookies. Have you ever had those? My mom would buy them when I was really young. There are these cookies that are similar to these, and it's a laminated dough, but they're baked to a firm texture rather than a kind of pastry texture. And these, because we bake them 18 minutes, have that kind of drier, flakier texture. And those were coated in sugar on the outside, kind of caramelized. They taste exactly like these. Texture is a little bit different. These are a little bit more pastry-like. In the interior, reminiscent of croissants. That was a nice big crunchy one. I would like more of a buttery flavor. That's what I associate with croissants, but this is a puff pastry dough, so I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. I imagine that this is made with shortening or some other kind of fat besides butter. Time for the milkage. Bloop, 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 bloop. Croissant cereal with milk. Aha, here we go. I've been waiting all day for this. Itadakimasu. I like the level of sweetness. I like the candy crunch. It is pastry heavy to me though. It feels like it's more starchy. I said that, but then I got a really big caramel bite. So having said that, if you make these, I highly recommend going pretty liberal with the amount of caramel powder that you add. I feel like if you want this to be reminiscent of sweetened breakfast cereal of childhood years, I would say, yes, it needs to be sweet. My only gripe, besides the amount of work that goes into hand rolling 100 baby croissants, is that it doesn't have a very strong pronounced buttery flavor. Perhaps if I used the Dufour brand of puff pastry, that might have been different, but just with Pepperidge Farm, not very buttery. It is puff pastry, not croissant dough after all. All right, so this has been sitting here for a couple minutes. Let's give it a taste and see how soggy it's gotten. Here we go. It surprisingly holds up pretty well. The interior still feels like that layered cookie texture, and the caramel really helps retain the crispness on the outside and has a really nice crunchy crunch, you know what I mean? Would I do this again? Probably not. It's a lot of work. But I did make caramel from sugar just straight up for the very first time, and that was very exciting. Alrighty, my lovelies, thanks as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Oh my gosh, what if I made a tiny croque monsieur or croque madame? Oh, how cute would that be? A little piece of ham, a little cheese. Nah.